I said I hadn't watched it, I got around to watching it, so finally I can talk about Ocean's 8. Yes! And welcome back to One Shot Counts, the channel where I talk about film and TV, and today I have finally seen Ocean's 8. So that's what we're going to talk about, and I'm excited. I'm excited to talk about this film because this film has now been out for a while and it's about to come out on DVD. I am actually going to spoil some things about this film, so just go in. If you haven't seen it, I am going to spoil because it's been out long enough that I think it's justified that I can talk about some of the things that happen in this movie. Ocean's 8 is the spin-off, not sequel to Ocean's 11, which was the remake of Ocean's 11. And my love for ocean films is quite high. When I was little, I grew up on a steady diet of just watching the 3 Ocean's films again and again and again. So for me, I have a personal love for the Ocean's movies, because I grew up on, which is weird. I've never really known anyone to grow up on the Ocean's movies. For me, I grew up on Ocean's, James Bond, Love Actually, Miss Congeniality. So, no wonder I'm gay. The director, Gary Ross, is someone you probably don't know, but he directed a film that you've most likely seen. He actually directed the first Hunger Games movie, which isn't the best one. Yeah, that's how I would describe the first Hunger Games movie. But we're here to talk about the Ocean's movies, so we're gonna talk about Ocean's 8. I am sorry for that sidetrack. Let's get on to it. Wow, what a goddamn cast it was. I love basically everybody on this cast, besides Rihanna, and this is what I'm gonna say, my favorite character was Rihanna. I know, I didn't see it coming either. Nineball is a character who I didn't think I was gonna like because it's their techie thing, and they did live up to the trope of, look, I'm hacking, done. Done. Hacking in films is something that they've never quite got right. It's either too boring or it's too short, or, you know, it's just done by doing this. Sidetrack, my favorite thing to watch in films is watching people type on a computer and it's just them doing this. Sometimes I don't even look at the screen, or I know they're dazing off in the screen. They are not paying attention to what they're meant to be doing on screen, and it always annoys me. This is hacking in films. This is hacking in video games. So, you know, this is the standard we live up to nowadays. The rest of the cast includes Sandra Bullock, Cate Blanchett, Mindy Kaling, I think is her name, Helen Bonham Carter, Anne Hathaway, I've forgotten her, Sarah Paulson. Oh, Sarah Paulson. That is a cast willing of Oscar nominated. I'm kidding, this film is not Oscar nominated, but oh my god, that is a cast. I actually think that is some of the best casting, because they all mold together, I would say. The characters bounce off each other. I mean, Cate Blanchett and Sandra Bullock's characters, they are meant to be best friends, so they bounce off each other more. Sometimes though, the banter is just a bit too much. Not that, you know, it gets crazy, but it does go on for a bit too long, and sometimes you just zone out. And that's what I did. It also includes the like of Anne Hathaway, who is the target. She's the target in this film because they're stealing a necklace, which is a very time-honored tradition in heist films. The necklace is always something that you go for when you're making a heist film. It's always a piece of jewelry or something like that. I can't remember what they were stealing in the first Ocean's film. Was it money? I can't remember. There was something to do with gambling. God, Christ, I need to watch that film again. But with that time-honored tradition, I kind of like them going back to the basics. We're just gonna steal jewelry, that's what we're going for. And, you know, the most simple plot line, and I loved it. Simplicity is what I like when it comes to to a heist film, and I'm actually gonna talk about heist films a little bit later, but simplicity for me makes a heist film easier to understand, more easier to enjoy, but then you've always got the plot twist at the end. You always have, it's just a thing. So the plot twist at the end, I, you know, saw coming because I felt it. It's a heist film, there's always a bit of a twist, you know. There was a BBC show called Hustle, I think, and it was just about these grifters, and basically like heist Ocean's films, but it was a TV show and there was always a twist. So whenever you watch a heist film, I always expect a twist. If there isn't a twist, I'll be annoyed. But when there is a twist, that's beautiful. That's really quite nice. So when I saw it coming in this film, I didn't get displeased. It just added more to the character of Anne Hathaway, who throughout this entire film actually played it quite shallow. You know, she's a famous star. She hasn't got really much going for her. She just cares about the Met Gala, what she wears and all that stuff. Just a slight little, oh, I'm not that stupid, guys, you know. I do see what's going on here. So for me, that added a bit more to her character just towards the end, which I quite liked. She played the dumb person all the way up until the end, and Anne Hathaway always plays those characters quite well. Overall, I genuinely think the cast was fantastic, and the story overall was really enjoyable. I think it had a good couple of throwbacks to old Ocean's movies. I don't think it set the way for new films to follow such recipe, because it followed a recipe beforehand. And the thing is, I always complain that The Force Awakens played it easy by going like the New Hope route. In this Ocean's film, I think it was good, just because they didn't really set up a sequel. Bearing in mind they did call it 8, and then they could do 2 more films before it becomes 11. But they didn't really set up a sequel. The ending was kind of, you know, it just ended. Everyone went off into their own little corners of the world, and everyone was really happy with the money they made. So for me, I think it was really good because it didn't set up a sequel, and I love it when films do that now, because it's a rare commodity that we can be given. So thank you for no sequel setup. I'm just gonna quickly talk about heist films generally. Heist films always have to be simplistic for me, because if you make it too much about characters, then it just kind of gets lost and the heist becomes a background, which in fairness could create some great development, but no one's really harnessed that ability to mix both together, in my opinion. The director who directed the Ocean's 11 movie went off to direct another film called Logan Lucky. Now, that film is not the worst film I have ever seen. It's, again, really good cast with Adam Driver, Channing Tatum, and Daniel Craig. It was a fun film. It felt like an old Ocean's movie, but this time he wanted to go more character-based. It was a smaller team. It wasn't Ocean's 11 with, you know, 11 people in it. It was more about characters, and the heist was again a backdrop. That doesn't mean to say the heist wasn't fantastic. That guy knows how to do a heist film, and it was, for the heist bit, it was really good. But he tried to go more character-based with particular Channing Tatum's character, and it kind of got lost because he was trying to do 2 things at once, trying to balance what he was good at and something he was trying to do, and in fairness to him, he really tried to do it. So when I come to a heist film, I have to hold them to a standard of, look, focus on the heist, get the characters a little bit of background, but to be honest, you're more focused on what the drive of this film is. The end goal of a heist film is the heist, so don't make it all about the characters and their resolutions. You've got to make it more about the heist, in my opinion, because that's a heist film. But don't make it too much about the heist, because then you'll have bland, boring characters. And that's when comedy and quick one-liners comes into all of this. Again, I just think Ocean's 8 balanced it really well. It wasn't the best Ocean's film. It had James Corden in it. It just had moments where I wasn't particularly all invested in every character out there. But on the other hand, it nailed it on the head. It played it safe for me. It was The Force Awakens of the Ocean's movies, and if they did another, I'd be totally on for it. I wouldn't be against it, but if they didn't, I'm also totally fine with there not being another Ocean's film with these particular characters or actresses, because yeah. I would rate Ocean's 8 okay. It was a lovely film. It was a great Saturday night evening watch with my family, and I do not regret watching it at all. I would actually watch it again in a heartbeat, to be honest. I had such a good time. Overall, it's a really fun time, and I highly recommend it for anyone who just wants to watch a casual film but also have really funny moments and a good heist, and it just resolutes itself in the end. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm so sorry this review took so long to be made. That's just because I didn't watch it, but I watched it. So I don't know what I'll review next. There will be another video later in the week, because I'm gonna try, touch wood, I'm gonna try and do 2 videos a week. Not that I'm probably gonna be successful, but my minimum goal is 1 a week again. But if I can do 2, that is fantastic. So that's what I'm gonna be trying to do from now on. So next, I don't know what I'll talk about. I might do a list of some films, I don't know. If you've got a suggestion of what video you'd like me to talk about, like favorite horror films, favorite dramas, favorite TV shows, let me know in the comments. Tell me a category you want me to talk about, and then I'll see if I can get onto it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until the next time, watch Sandra Bullock films. There you go, there's some homework. So.